trying to get this chat up. 1 second. Alright, let's get it.
Enjoy unlimited DVR storage and never worry about hidden fees. With YouTube TV, try it free.
In Elden Ring, you are nothing without your weapons, so here are some that you should not miss. Now just know, there are a ton of weapons in this game, so narrowing them down to just 10 for a list is tough.
In this Elden Ring
it's really
video,
tough.
I'm going to be showing
just keep
you
in
my
mind that
Berserker
these are
build.
our
This is a
personal
strength-based
favorites.
build
They're not
that uses
necessarily
two
the
great
end-all,
swords
be-all
to
weapons
just
in the
absolutely
game. Sometimes
slaughter
those in
everything.
build guides
If
and
you've been
stuff
looking
take
for a good
months
strength-based
to
build
show
in
up.
Elden
These are
Ring,
just
then
weapons
this
that
guy
we
is
really
good.
like, and also some
The
that
two
are just
classes you can
generally
use to make
helpful
this
at
build
certain
are
points in the
Vagabond
game.
or
So let's
Hero.
get started
I
off
personally chose
with
Vagabond.
number 10.
It
Let's
doesn't
talk about
really
the
matter
Twin
too
Blade
much
plus
which you
Blood
choose
Flame
your stats,
Blade.
but it's not
Have you
gonna
ever
be
tried
that
to
much
use a
different. You're still gonna have to
double-sided
put some
lightsaber
points
in a
there.
Souls
But
game?
you could do
At
either of
least
these
in one
classes.
that's not called Star
So
Wars
once you
Jedi
begin the
Fallen
game,
Order.
the first
Well,
thing
now
that
you
you're gonna
can.
wanna do
This
is go pick up the
hilarious
Lord Swordsman's
weird
Sword.
combo
This is in the
was
Gate Front
discovered by
Burns. It's in the
Reddit
chest
user
there on the
Knight
back of the
Paradox,
carriage.
who used a
And make
Twin
sure you
Blade,
grab the
which can be
whetstone
found pretty
in the
early in the
ruins
game
there
in the
as well down the
Dragonburnt
steps. That
Ruins,
way you can put an
with
actual
the
war on it
Blood
if you
Flame Blade incantation,
Once you have that,
which
the
is
next
dropped from
thing
a
you're gonna wanna
scarab
pick up
near
is
the
the
Rose
Erdtree's
Church in the
Favor.
Liurnia
This is
region.
located
Now, if
in
you've got the
Frinfolk
requisite
Heroes
stat
Glade, which is
requirements,
where
you can
that
use the
gargoyle
Twin
statue
Blade
is
and
right at
cast
the
the
beginning
Blood
of the
Flame
game with that kind of
incantation to
white
give
cloth
your
there.
sword a proper
If you have
lightsaber
a
look and
Stone's
just
Word
go
key, if
nuts.
you took one as you're starting to get, you can go down there immediately. Go to the Golden Seed, which is what I usually recommend taking in your class because you can find those. These aren't hard to find. They're all over the place.
It's easy to
You
make
don't
this
even
sort
have
of
to kill
combo
some
look
enemies.
awesome with a
Like,
few
if you go up
clips,
the
but
hill in Storm
really,
Hill,
it's just to look
there's
cool,
one right
and that's
next to
about
you.
it.
You
You know,
see
the
up there
actual
that you
Blood
can just
Flame
pick up
power
and go in
doesn't
there. So
last
that's
that long.
really easy to
Still,
get.
just
You wanna
casting
go
the
down
spell
there,
kind of
and
looks
there's
like
gonna
you're
be an area
powering
where
on a
the ramp
lightsaber,
narrows as you're
and
going
it's
down,
just an
and you can
all-around
fall
cool
off
weapon and
into
magic
death.
combo
If
that's
you
not
look
too hard to
carefully
get your hands
as
on.
you approach it.
Next
you can
over at
drop
number
right over
9,
the
let's
lip.
talk about
Sort of a
Roger's
hidden area down there.
Rapier.
If you
Now,
make
if you're
your way
going for
down,
mostly
you'll find the
dexterity-based
Erdtree's
weapons,
Favor
then this
lying on the ground.
rapier
It's
is
guarded
something
by,
to
like,
get for a
two
few
really
reasons.
tough
For
enemies,
one,
so I
it
don't
starts
suggest
off
trying to
being a
fight them.
plus
Just
8
run by them,
weapon,
pick
so
it up,
it's already been
dive if you
upgraded
have to,
a
make sure you're
lot by the
heavy.
time you get it,
Turns on
and
you
it's
when you go down
totally
there.
free and pretty
Yeah,
easy to
then you'll have
get.
this
All
really
you have to
good,
do to get your hands on it
talisman
is to
that
talk
boosts
to
your,
Roger
health,
in the church
boosts
in
your
Stormvale
stamina.
Castle.
Really, really
Keep
good
talking to
have.
him until
And
you
it also
run out
boosts
of
your
new
equip level.
dialogue.
After
Then just
you've
keep
gathered
going through
that,
the area
next thing
until you
you're gonna
take out
wanna do is
Godric,
go
the
pick up
boss
the
of the
Claymore,
area.
which is located in
Roger
Castle
should
Morn.
appear in the
Again,
round
this is
table
another
hold
item
now.
that you don't even have to kill anything to get. You just go into Castle Morn, run by the enemies there by the fire thing, kind of go
And
into
if
the
you
doorway
tell him
there
you
on the
killed
right
Godric,
side,
he'll
and on the
reward you
left
with
immediately
his
through that
sword.
doorway
Now, the
is
fact that
chest.
it's already
Got the
upgraded so
Claymore
much
inside.
is really the
Now you
best
can
thing
do
about it.
real
Otherwise,
great
it's a
swords.
pretty standard
And you're
rapier,
gonna really
but
start
all those
packing a
upgrades
punch.
really
You're
do
gonna wanna get
make
these
a
upgraded
difference
right
and
away.
give you some
Again,
leg
there
up.
is
It's a
the
powerful
statue
weapon
up
with
there on
low
Storm
stat
Hill
requirements
that,
that's
to
great
give the
for a
tools to
dex
destroy
magic
has,
build.
like,
So
6,
get it if you can.
upgrade materials in it and the tunnels
Now,
as
next
well
at number
have a lot
8,
of
let's
upgrade
talk
materials.
Lestat's
So go ahead and get
Glintstone
those if you
staff.
need more, 'cause
Found
you're
in
gonna wanna upgrade
Celia,
both
town
of
of
these
sorcery,
weapons.
after
You can
killing the
farm
bosses
soldiers
there.
in the
This
Gate
staff
Front
is
Ruins.
an
They drop them. It's
awesome
a pretty
weapon
low
for
drop
a single
rate, like,
reason.
you kill the
Its
whole camp, you
intelligence
usually get
scaling
about
is
1 maybe.
huge. The
But that is
requirements
a way you
are
can
no
farm
joke,
some
though.
early on
You've
if
got to
you're having
have
trouble getting
52
There is one other
intelligence
item that's
just
really
to
good for
use
this
this
build,
thing.
but
So
you're not gonna
it's
get
really
till later
only
on. I'm
good
just
for the
gonna mention it here,
dedicated
'cause it should
sorcerer.
be
But
something
if
you
you
strive
are
for
one, then this thing
eventually
is
that's not too far
absolutely
into the game, is the
essential.
Claw Talisman. This enhances your jump attacks. You do jump attacks with this build all the time. In fact, if you're not jumping,
Even though
attacking,
Celia
you're
is
not
found
doing
in
this build
Caelid,
right.
which
It
is, you know, kind of a
devastating to
dangerous
jump attack
place,
with
the
two
actual
weapons.
town itself
Jump attack,
isn't
jump
that
attack,
difficult
jump
to
attack.
get through,
You
and
get the
as
Claw
long as you know how to
Talisman,
remove
and
the
it's located in
barriers,
Stormvale
which isn't
Castle.
hard, you
It is
just have to light up a
absolutely
few
devastating.
towers,
Exact location
then you're good
that
to
is
go.
located
On
on
top
the
of being powerful by
Talking about
default, this thing
attributes, in
actually
terms of
enhances
strength
your
and
spells
dexterity,
and
you
makes
want
them more
just enough in
powerful.
order to meet
It
the
costs more to
requirements for the
actually
Claymore.
cast this
You
stuff,
have the
but
dexterity
it's a
requirement
noticeable
for that, and
increase.
the Lord
Basically,
Sword by
if you
default.
want to use a
So
lot
all
of
you really need to
sorceries,
do is get to
get this
16
staff.
strength pretty quick. And
Next
you'll be
over
able
at
to use
number
both of
7,
these
let's
weapons at
talk
the same
great
time, no
swords.
problem.
First,
Once
the
you've done that,
grafted
I like to
blade
pump
great sword.
vigor
Now, if you
and
want an
endurance.
example
I
of a
like to get my
truly
vigor up to
epic
15
weapon in
quickly
Elden
and
Ring
then
that
start
can be
cranking
obtained
endurance.
relatively
Endurance is not
early,
only gonna
then
give
look
you more
no further
stamina,
than
which is
this
great 'cause you're jumping
monstrosity.
around,
It's
rolling
literally a
around,
pile
attacking
of
with
swords
two huge weapons
grafted
that chew up
together
stamina.
into one
But it also
colossal
increases your
blade
clip weight,
thing
allowing you to
with
use
the strength
heavier
requirements to
armor,
match
which is
its
gonna
size.
protect
You need a
because
whopping
this is a
40
very, very
strength
aggressive build.
to
You're
be
gonna
able to
trade
properly
damage a
wield
lot
this
of times in
thing.
this
So
build
for
in
most
order to
people,
speed
it's
up
going to be
fights,
a
which is
long,
fine.
long
And you wanna
time
make sure you
before you
reduce the
ever
amount
have
of
a chance to
damage you take.
actually
And you
use it.
also wanna be
But
able to
even at the end of the
medium
game,
roll.
it's
So
like one
if
of our
you are in
favorite
that
bread
heavy
and butter
roll range, you're
weapons.
gonna
If you
fat
just
roll,
want to
which isn't
smash
ideal.
some enemies
So
with a
make sure
giant
that you
sword
increase your
club
endurance
thing.
so that you can wear heavy armor, you wield both weapons, and still do it. Eventually, you're going to want to get vigor up to 20 and endurance.
Now,
up
the
to
funny
20,
thing about it
and
is that
at
it's
that
actually
point,
one of
you
the
can start
first
cranking
weapons you
strength.
get, too,
You can actually
depending on how you
change the
play. You
scaling
can
on
get it
these
up the
weapons
Leonine
with
Misbegotten
Ashes
boss
of
in
War
Castle
in order
Morn.
to make
The
heavy
boss is
versions
actually
that
pretty
scale
easy
better
to
with
take out
strength than the sort
fairly
of
early in
quality
the
that
game
they
as long as you
start
make
with.
it through the castle
So,
and keep okay. I
change
guess they just
them
wanted to
heavy
tease you
eventually,
with the
but
kind
early on,
of
if you
crazy
change them to
weapons
heavy,
you
you'll
can get in
actually
this
do
game
less
because
damage.
nobody's
There's no
actually
reason to
using
change
this
them
thing that
to
early
anything
in the
other than standard
adventure.
at the beginning of the
And
game.
yeah, it's obviously
So the way
also
this
an
build
homage
works
to the
is
Iron
that when you're
Throne
dual
from Game of
wielding
Thrones.
these
So it's a
weapons,
pretty
you're
cool little
using the
Easter egg on top of
button to
that.
attack
Oh, and
with
speaking
both
of
at the same
great swords,
time.
the Star
They
Skirt
attack
great
slightly
sword.
slower
This thing
than
is so
you would
good that
if
it
you
just
hit
has to
R1.
be
If you hit
mentioned.
R1,
You get it
always
from the
swing your
finger
right-hand
reader in the
weapon,
round table
which is a bit
hold with the
faster.
remembrance drop
So
from
there
the
are
Radon
scenarios where you
boss,
may
but
wanna
it's
swing faster, like
crazy
if you're
good.
fighting
Yeah, it's got a
dogs or
pretty
something,
steep
or a big
strength
fat
requirement,
enemy,
and its scaling
like a,
isn't
you know,
the
one of those
best,
little
but this
imp
thing
guys
is
in the
so
catacombs
naturally
that, like,
strong that
after
it
you.
makes up
You
for
might
it, and
need to
its
swing
unique
quickly so he
properties
doesn't
make it
stagger
even
you
better.
before you
Its
swing.
ability, called Star
That's a
Caller
scenario
Cry,
where you
is
might
just
use R1, but
nuts.
most of the time
First,
you're gonna be
it
using
sucks in
L1
any nearby
in order to
enemies,
hit
which
with
you
both
can use
weapons
as an
at the same time,
opportunity
which is
to
what
attack,
really makes
or you
the
can follow it up with a
damage
massive
Beyond
explosion
that,
that does
jumping attacks are
impressive
what make
damage.
this
So
build
its
really,
skill
really
is great, the
work.
weapon
You're
is
gonna
good,
wanna
and to
jump
really
and use
top things
L1
off, if you switch to
constantly. You can one-shot
two-handed,
many
you can
enemies
dual
by doing
wield
it.
two of these
Just jump
things,
L1
just like the
from one
boss
enemy to the
could.
next, you'll be
Running
hopping
around
all
with
over
two
the
swords
screen.
nearly
It's
as
quite
big as
fun.
you
You're gonna
looks
play very
ridiculous,
aggressively with
but
this build.
it's nothing.
And
It's
what's
not
really great is when
effective.
you're like fighting
Radon is
bosses
a
and stuff, and
bastard
you're,
of a
like,
boss
close
fight, but he's
distance and
worth
jump in.
taking down
Like,
just
you're
for
gonna
this. It's
start
that
fights
good.
sometimes, or you know,
Next over
you're
at number
not
6, the
necessarily
Sword of
always
Saint
gonna wait for
Trina.
bosses
This
to
is a
swing.
sword
You
with
can
pretty
bring it
low
to them
stat
by jump
requirements that
attacking
requires you
and
to
then
brave a
reacting
pretty
to what they
dangerous
do,
area, but otherwise
rolling
isn't too
away or
hard to
whatever.
get. It's another weapon
A
where
lot
its
of times they'll
ability
swing
is the most
horizontally when you
impressive
jump,
thing
and
about
they'll
it.
go
And
right
while
underneath
its
you and you'll
scaling
land on
kind of
an attack,
sucks,
which is great,
that
and sometimes
skill
you can get
really
another
makes up
attack
for it
off.
in a lot of
You
ways.
just need to
Now,
walk
why
the
is that?
gates and
It's
do what they
because the
do.
skill is a
A couple
hilariously
of really good
powerful
tips for this
mist
fight
of
are that you can
slumber.
actually
This
buff your
ability that
weapons
does
with, like,
exactly what it
greases.
sounds like. It
There are a
spreads
lot
out
of
this
greases
mist
you can
in a
find all over
wide
the game, and
area
you can
that
craft
causes
them as
any
you pick
enemy
up
trapped in it to
items.
just
The
fall
armor
asleep.
cooking
Now, once they're
one is
snoozing,
like
it's
where the,
incredibly
you know,
easy
bandit
to just
mercenary
pick
camp
enemies
is,
off,
like,
making
5
this one of the best
gatecraft
weapons to
rooms.
use
Like, just go
against
over to
large
Storm
groups
Hill
of
a little
enemies.
ways
It's not
and
something
find
that's
them
going to
riding
work on
around
every
there.
enemy,
And that
so
allows
it's
you to
definitely
craft
more of a
fire grease, which you can
situational
buff your weapon
weapon.
with
But for
to
the things
enhance
it
your
does
damage.
work on, it's great. So
Another
instead of
really
wasting
great
your
thing about
resources
this
on
build is that
expensive
you have,
sleeping
like,
pots, just
complete
have this weapon
freedom
equipped for
of
the
ashes of
situations
war that you
where
wanna
you
put
want
on
an
it.
enemy
There's
to
so
pass
many
out.
different
It's
ashes of war you
incredibly
can put
good
on.
for
Make
that,
sure you
and
put it
not
on
really
your
great for
right-hand
anything
weapon.
else.
That way, when you hit L2,
Next
you'll
over at
use
number
it.
5,
War
having
Cry
a
is
good
really
bow
good
is
for
important
boosting
for
your
certain
damage. Just keep in mind
situations
that
in
if you
Elden
use
Ring,
War
and
Cry,
you don't come across
can't
them
use Fire
too
Grease and
often.
War Cry together.
Found pretty
So
early in the
that's a
game,
way
you
to
can
boost your
easily
damage.
use this,
I personally
the
really
horn
like
bow,
Quick Step.
for the rest of the
I find
game
that I
if you
don't
want.
need it
Its
all the
scaling
time, but
isn't
it's
great,
really
but
nice
its
to
base
have,
damage and
particularly on
its
tough
unique
boss fights,
passive
where you
ability
can
to
just,
do
like,
magic
dodge out
damage
of the
make
way,
it so you'll
attack,
always be
dodge
doing
out of the way,
pretty good
attack with
damage
Quick
to
Step.
enemies,
It is
regardless of their
really, really
defenses.
fun,
To
and
find
if
this
you're
thing, just
happen to
look under the
PvP, I
bridge
imagine
to the
this would be
Hallowhorn
absolutely
grounds in the
devastating as well.
underground
Just
river
troll people
area,
with
which
Quick
is
Step. Costs
found
almost
early on
no
in
FP.
Limgrave.
You don't need any,
You get to the specific
hardly at
part from
all
an elevator
FP
near
classes
the
for this
minor
build. You're gonna
Erd
go,
tree
like,
in the Mistwood.
95%
Now, it's one of the few things that's not
100% health,
particularly
0
well
FP for
hidden,
this build.
but easy to miss.
And
We went
lastly,
through a
this
huge
build
chunk
works
of this game
exceptionally
without
well
a bow
on
and only
horseback.
found
The
this thing
Claymore
much,
has
much
just a
later by
fantastic
accident. So
moveset
don't make the
on
same mistake
horseback.
that
It's
some of
really
us
easy to hit
did.
enemies.
It's really a
It's
pretty
really
great
large
weapon that
hit
you'll
bosses.
want to hold on
You're
to,
gonna
and it
find
can make a
mounted
lot of
combat on
tough
horseback is
encounters
very,
and certain
very easy
mobs
with this build.
much easier if you
So
use
that's
it
my
right.
Berserker build. It absolutely devastating.
tells
If
only
you
for
like
little
strength-based
Caesars might
builds,
make
you
you
give it a
feel like
try.
that, man.
Dual wielding
But could
these
you
weapons
really
is
be
very,
the
very
Batman?
strong early game, and these are two weapons you can do it
Never
with.
mind.
So I
But
hope you
ordering
enjoy
the
it. If you
Batman
have any
calzone
questions, let me
will
know in
make
the
you
comments
feel
below.
like a
Probably going to be
superhero.
moving on to
The
more
Batman
advanced builds
Caesar's
next.
March 4.
I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll keep getting builds out as soon
Next
as I
over at
can.
number 4, face builds. Haven't gotten like a lot of love on this list, so here's a weapon for you guys. The Coated Sword is found pretty late in the game in the capital city. You actually find it in the real round table hold, and it isn't hard to get, but this is an area that's locked off until you beat at least 2 shard bearers. So it's an area that'll take a while before you really get to explore it. Still, this weapon
In
is
this
so
Elden Ring video,
good
I'm gonna be
that
showing
it's
you my
worth the
Barbarian
wait. It's
build
basically
guide.
this
This is a
game's version
strength-based
of the
build that deals
lightsaber, a
incredible
sword
damage
made
and
of
can offer
runes that
one or
has
two
an
shot
awesome
most
ability to
enemies.
completely bypass
To make this build, you're either gonna
shields of
choose
any
hero or
kind.
vagabond.
That's what makes
Start
this
of the
thing
game,
so great,
ideally,
how how
I
it just
think
blows
Hero
through
has a
any
better
and
stat
all
spread of the two
defenses.
because
It's
it has
awesome. It's
less dexterity,
fantastic.
which you
Now,
don't
you
need
need a
very
pretty
much,
high
and it
faith
has
stat
more
to
strength,
use it,
which you
so
need a
this
lot
one is
of in order to
basically
use
for
this wide-hander.
faith-based magic
So,
users
or
only.
any other
But
claw
for
force
anyone
that
who
matter.
has that
I
build,
think Hero's a
this is
better
a
choice, but you can
great
do what
weapon
you
to
do.
look for. It's
Okay,
cool as
so
hell
putting
looking
this
and
build
it's
together, the
shockingly
things you're gonna need
powerful.
are obviously
And if you're
this
far enough in
Wide-hander
the
that's
game, it's not
located
too
from
hard
the
to get.
isolated merchants in the
Now, next at number
southwestern
3,
part
let's
of
talk
the
Moray's
peninsula.
Executioner's
Once you have
Sword. This is
3,500
found pretty
runes,
late
you're
in
gonna
the
head
game
down
by
there
beating
and
the
pick that
boss
up
of
right
the
away.
Shaded Castle
You
in
also
the
need
Altus
the
region.
whetstone
This
blade
greatsword
that's
is
in the Gatecraft
devastatingly
runes right at the beginning of
powerful
the
on
game.
top of having
You can farm
an
some
awesome
runes
special
there
weapon
as well,
skill
get
called
better
Dancing
armor.
Blade, which
So that's
sends
not
out
bad
your
to start
sword
the game.
forward in like
You're
a
also gonna
corkscrew
need the
attack
Ash of
before
War
spinning
Cry,
like
which is
crazy.
located
It's a
at the War Master's
powerful
Shack. You can buy
ability
that
that can
from Vernal
destroy
there.
enemies
He
from
sells it to you
long
pretty cheap.
range.
It's like
But the one
800
downside to this
something
thing
like
is that
that.
it's
He's
the
located in
very
the
high
northeast Thornhill, so
arcane
they're gonna
requirements. The
have
arcane
the
stat
Wide-hander.
is basically
The two
like luck.
talismans
So
you want
most
for this
people
build
aren't
are
going to
the
have
Turtle
23
Talisman,
points put in
located
arcane by the
in
time they
eastern
find this
Thornhill.
thing.
This
That's the
is
biggest
very
issue
good
with
for
it.
stamina
But as a
recovery.
weapon,
This
it's a
build
lot
has
of fun to use, and it looks
absolute
cool
stamina
as hell on
consumption
top of
problem.
that. You can't quite do all the crazy stuff the boss did with this weapon, but you can get pretty close. It's a sword that can fight enemies on its own, and it deserves a mention just for that.
Which increases the damage you do.
Now at number 2, let's talk Moonveil. It's a katana that's perfect for anyone going for dex or intelligence builds, and it's found in the Guile Tunnel, right outside of Fort Guile in Caelid, and is dropped by the boss there. Now for a katana, this is a weapon that requires some investment in intelligence as well as dexterity. You need 23 intelligence and 18 dexterity just to use this thing. So even though it's possible to get out here early in the game, you'll need to build your character a little before you can properly use it. With both dex scaling and intelligence scaling, you can put out some really good damage with this thing, but what really makes it great is its weapon skill, called Transient Moonlight. It's a move that you can perform very quickly, which also shoots out a wave of light, making it a powerful tool to fight certain enemies. Any close-range weapon with a ranged attack can be handy in this game, but the speed and power of this particular weapon's special attacks make it really noteworthy.
Now
at number 1, let's talk the Dark Moon Greatsword. Now this weapon, modeled after the famous Moonlight Greatsword that's appeared in basically every From Fantasy game going all the way back to King's Field, is absolutely worth hunting down, if only for bragging rights at least. Its special skill, called, no surprise here, Moonlight Greatsword, is incredibly powerful, but actually using this weapon isn't easy, as it's got a shockingly high intelligence requirement. So even though it's like this gigantic sword, you gotta be a mage to actually use it. That's not the only thing holding this weapon back. It's also incredibly hard to get, requiring you to play through a long and convoluted quest with a ton of steps that all revolve around assisting Rena the Witch. So it's complicated and long. There's just no way we can really even summarize what you have to do to even get it here. So just look up the details if you're really curious. This is a quest worth playing, though, as it's actually required if you want to get to some of the most secret parts of the game. There's even a boss or two locked behind, so it's a quest well worth pursuing, even if you don't care about getting this awesome weapon. But you should. It's sick. In the right hands, this thing is devastating. It's the ultimate From Software weapon, and you definitely shouldn't miss. Those are some awesome weapons that we like. We got some bonus ones that we think are worth mentioning as well. First, Bloodhound's Fang, because you can get it fairly early on if you pay attention, and it's got this cool special attack dodge type move that can be really useful. Also, the Nox Flowing Hammer and the Nox Flowing Sword. Just look at these things. They're weapons that twist around like crazy when you use their special ability. They're stretchy weapons. They're like weird as hell. How effective they are, we don't really know, but they sure are cool looking. The One-Eyed Shield is worth highlighting. It shoots fireballs. It's ridiculous looking and not super useful, but it's fun to mess around with. And the Inferno Crozier. This is a giant hammer, strong enough on its own, but if you run out of FP and use its special ability, then you get this hilarious animation where your dude runs around with the hammer in front of them like they're using a vacuum cleaner or something, and you can do this as long as you hold the button down. It's not that useful, but it's funny. Also, the Meteorite Staff, just because it's a very good early game staff, you can run into Caelid and get it quick. While you can't upgrade it, it has S scaling right out of the gate, so it'll get you through until mid-game. But those are some weapons we wanted to talk about. Elden Ring is really cool, and there's so much more to talk about, so expect more videos soon. But if you like this, maybe it helped you out. Clicking the like button's all you gotta do. We would very much appreciate that. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Playing Elden Ring?
But the R2 and L2 attacks do insane damage. And not only that, the second the tip gets in the ground, if you ride through any enemy, it does damage to them.
I started a new game,
damage again. A lot of times shooting them up into the air like a geyser.
So my audio, my mic audio is not loud. Mic check. Mic check. There we go. Shit.
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Hmm? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity. Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me, Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you, Tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, a path that a Tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you, Tarnished, to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave. Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly, to Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted. It's time you set off, I should think, to Castle Stormvale on the cliff, where Grace would guide you if you seek the Elden Ring, maidenless as
What's up? So good. Trying to go pick my shit up. hasten your travel to any sites or place that you discover how okay. Who is motherfucker?
You're tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale, purveyor of fine goods.
Shop where you can spare rooms and purchase like also sell items. Markets are different, various variety of items to purchase. Let's see.
Goodbye for now. What is it? Still going to purchase something? I am of a nomadic people, selling wares as I The land has been tainted by madness since it's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer. You know, if you can spare the runes, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. You know, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. Essential. The kit costs a bundle, but the important. Goodbye for now.
Well, gotta make some money.
You finna go, my boy?
Shit. Nah, I gotta make some money on this hoe.
Oh,
What you on?
K2.
K2. Boy, that sound like a drug.
It is.
I'm trying to wait for the truck to come, and then I go.
Bet.
Not saying you not better.
Nah, man, I understand, you know. That big man in there, oh, and that one always helpful.
Especially for your boy. Let's see here. Oh, I'm broke as hell. I don't know. Put your flash in my box. Okay. Got it. Oh. What you on, Cat?
My career.
You made a new build?
No, the same one I've been grinding.
Oh, that's that demon.
Something like. I don't know why you bullshitting.
Shit, what you mean? I'm trying to work on something new.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was talking about making a new build. I don't want to do it just yet. I don't got the VC for it. Man. I got shit everywhere in this hole. Hey, you see buddy over there. Boy, this shit crazy as hell. This is my first look at this goddamn wrench. Give me a little minute, I'm grinding my